Hey, hey, party people, it's me, your boy Clarence Rick Napier, the president at 321 Biz Development, located both in San Francisco and Georgia, Atlanta, South Atlanta, and today is March 11th, 2024, and it's such a great weather, kind of like in the South. I haven't been in the South in a long time, but the weather here changes every single day. Like one day it was clear, then the next day it's raining pretty much the entire day. Then the next day it's sunny, 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 and it reaches the 70s, and the very next day it's down in the 30s. And that's what spring looks like in the South, in Georgia. Now, if you go down to Florida, where I was born, it's already 75, 80, 85 in certain places along the Gulf Coast. But this podcast episode is not a weather report. This podcast episode is about some things I've been seeing, and I know as a business owner, maybe you have seen it, or as a business owner, you have experienced it, or as a business owner, what I have seen, it has gotten to you. It has somewhat crippled you in a way that you cannot perform the things that you want to do to make your businesses do well. And it's very interesting because we as business owners, we have these products and services, and our products and services are, $500, $1,000 or higher per transaction. So I'm really talking about, I am really referring to the white collar small business owners, the ones that are accountants, CPAs, lawyers, dentists, plastic surgeons, dentists, financial services people, or blue collar workers that have a product or service that costs per transaction $500 or $1,000 and higher. But you have to think about what is it that stops us from moving forward, from saying, okay, I got these products that are valued at $2,500 or $5,000 per transaction, and you want to make, let's say, $25,000 this month, or you want to sell 5 items at $5,000 a piece. And that's what you need to end the month with at least or more 5 items at $5,000 a piece, so you can make $25,000 per month. And if you multiply that times 12, that's about $300,000. So it sounds simple. That number, I believe, scares people, that $300,000 per year in your business. And it just means that you need to sell 5 items at $5,000 a piece times 12 months. So what does it take to sell 5 items at $5,000 a piece per month? Well, it's going to take at least 5 people saying yes to your products or services. Well, that is most likely not going to happen, that you meet 5 people at stage 1, which is the contacting phase, followed by the prospecting stage, followed by meeting those people at an appointment, followed by meeting those 5 people at the closing stage. So in a perfect world, you would talk to 5 people. You'd meet 5 people on March 1st, and maybe another person on March 8th, another person on March 15th, another person on March 22nd, another person on March 29th, and every single one of them would say yes, and you would have hit your goal for the month of March. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, because you have to contact those 5 people, and it's likely that those 5 people may not need or want your specific product or service on that day. It doesn't mean they may not need your product or service 60 to 90 days from now. It just means that they don't need your product or service today. Or maybe when you approach them, your approach wasn't professional. Your approach had some issues, and maybe they did want your product or service, but because of the style that you used, maybe it's your sales, pitch. Maybe you went straight for the sale at the first stage, at the contacting stage, or you went for the sale at the prospecting stage. And that particular person was so turned off, even though they wanted your product or service, they said, no thanks. I mean, they were not ugly about it. They just basically said, oh, that's okay. No, I'm not interested. When deep down inside, they may have been interested. But because you didn't have a system where you can look from the left to the right, the left being the contacting phase, all the way to the right, which would be the closing stage. And let me just add, there's a fifth stage. It's called getting zero cost referrals. And that stage pretty much helps you not have to prospect and contact so many people on a regular basis, because when you had a system, especially the 3-2-1 Biz Development sales system, those people at the closing stage would say, Carl, yes, not only did I buy your product, but I liked the way that you did business. I liked the way I was approached. I liked the way that this whole process went. I have 3 to 4 people that may not need your product today, but they at least need to know who you are, so that when they need your product or service, or maybe their friends who need your product or service, will call you. So that's one of the initial challenges. But how do we get to that part where we feel like getting up every single day and saying, I need to start the process to close 5 people per month, so that the business can sell 5, so that the business could have 5 transactions at $5,000 per transaction? How do we get to that point? How do we get to the mental part of that says, go ye, go out there and find people? Now, that's the part where the 3-2-1 Biz Dev system comes in, because let me tell you, I'm in my early 60s. I've been in sales since probably my mid-30s, my early to mid-30s. Most of those years between like 30 and 42 were in corporate America. Even though that counts for something, the corporate branding is there. You don't need to worry about people not knowing who you are, what company you represent, because you got this corporate branding, this logo, this name, this business card that millions of people know in your city or your county. So that wasn't the problem. But when you transition to an independent salesperson, an independent business owner, like an attorney, like a CPA, an accountant, a dentist, a plastic surgeon, an insurance agent, a real estate broker, real estate agent, a person that has a tile business, an electrician, a plumber, or any business selling products or services at $1,000 or higher, it becomes almost like being born again, or being born and having all these credentials behind your name, having that piece of paper on the wall that says you graduated from University of Pennsylvania, or you went to the XYZ School of Law and you passed the bar, or you went to a dental college and you got the dental certification and now you're a practicing dentist, or you worked at one of the big CPA firms and you left and now you have an independent CPA practice. Or you worked at a big financial services company and you passed the 6 and 63 Series 7 and now you're an independent financial advisor. no matter what your certificate says, no matter what your degree says, no matter where you got your degree from, it's like being in business on the very first day. And that's where most people are. Most people are in that mode. So how do you get into a frame of mind where you say, I need to close 5 people by the end of the month, and I know the first 5 people I talk to or you engage with, they're not going to say yes. It's like it's an outlier that 5 people, the first 5 people you talk to will say yes. That's way, way out there with the confidence level of like 70% using statistics terms. That's a low confidence probability that the first 5 people you talk to are going to say yes. In fact, if most people's businesses was like that, you would have so many people having small businesses. They would say, oh, I got a CPA certification. I'm ready to open my practice. I'm just going to call the first 5 people I run into or I find or on the internet or on social media, and all 5 of those people are going to say yes, and I'm going to have some CPA clients. If that were the case, so many people would quit their jobs, their 9-to-5 jobs today, and open a business. If that were the case, but it's not the case. But how do you do it? How do you get to that point where you say, I just got up this morning, I need to end this month with at least 5 closed transactions? Well, what you have to do is look at the very end of a successful sale. So I'm assuming if you had a sale before, look at that sale that you closed and work your way backwards. Now, if you don't have a system of how you close that transaction, last month or 2 months ago, then it's going to be a very ugly picture of starting with where you close and working your way backward. It's going to be like a R-rated movie. It's going to be a horror movie when you start where you close and work your way backwards to the very first stage, which is contacting and prospecting. That's where 321 Biz Development can help you. We can help you with looking at the very end of the process and working your way backwards and saying, I closed, check mark. How did that close? Go one step back. I met with the person at the appointment, and I did this, and the customer loved it. Check mark. Work your way backwards. When I called to set the appointment, after I met the person, I was like, it was only like 2 minutes on the phone. It wasn't a 30-minute conversation about the product or service on the phone before the actual appointment. Check mark. Go back to the prospecting stage. How did you prospect that person? Did you prospect that person by asking some great questions? Did you prospect a lot of people to get that person to agree to an appointment? Because like I said, you can't close 5 if you only started with 5. Very, very low level of confidence. It's an outlier. So then if you prospected that person correctly, check mark. And then you get to the first stage where you contacted this person in some way. It's rare that you're going to contact someone on social media and they're going to move forward. Very rare. It's a higher probability that when you contact that person face to face or on the phone or through some type of print media or even radio, where you're going to have a higher level of success. Of course, print, let me back up. Radio is going to have the lowest response rate. It's probably going to cost you the most. Print, depending on how you do it, it's going to have a higher response rate, but you have to learn how to take that phone call when someone calls to say, hey, I saw your ad in this newspaper or magazine. So the most efficient way of doing it and the least costliest way of doing it is face to face or on the phone or doing B2B calls. And I know that is so scary to people. I mean, the B2B calls has a taboo behind it, but that taboo was put on the business by people who don't work the business.
And the people who don't work the business don't want you to be successful. I know that sounds kind of strange, but let me tell you, there are more people cheering that you don't succeed than are cheering that you do succeed. And the people who are cheering that you don't succeed are the people who have already gained a good market share. They don't want another attorney, CPA, dentist, plastic surgeon, CPA to succeed because you might take some of their business. So anyway, I'm going to close. My name is Clarence Rick Napier, president at 321 Biz Development. I'm also the president of an insurance brokerage selling health insurance, life insurance, Medicare, long-term care, disability, annuity rollovers, and final expense plans. And for those interested, we will have an online networking session pretty soon. I'm getting ready to move into a brand new home in the state of Georgia, and I'm waiting to get my home office set up so I can broadcast professionally. My telephone number is 866-901-9876. Take care and have a fantastic day.